Bo cornered me in the parking garage with a crowbar, told Lila her friend Jeremy died this morning, then whispered, if this idiot doesn't move, so will he. When I tried to stand my ground, he smiled and said, careful, these floors are slippery. I just stared at him. That was 8 weeks ago. This morning, he was standing outside my apartment in tears. What's the stupidest thing you ever did for money? One morning in the parking lot of my gym, a woman named Lila offered me $300 cash to pretend to be her workout partner for an hour. She said her ex Bo might show up because he'd been following her to random places lately, and she couldn't be alone with him because he had a horrible temper. You should see what he did to the guy I dated after him, she said, but she didn't elaborate. Lila explained that Bo had been texting her photos of herself at the grocery store, the library, her yoga class, always from a distance, but letting her know he was watching. She hadn't been to the gym in weeks because it was her last safe space, but she couldn't live in fear forever. She handed me the cash and said all I had to do was work out near her and walk her to her car after, that Bo probably wouldn't even show up, but she needed insurance. He had a restraining order and couldn't approach if witnesses were around. I needed the money and figured it was probably just paranoia anyway. For the first 20 minutes, everything was normal, and Lila started to relax, actually smiling as she did her warm-up stretches. She kept checking the door, but gradually stopped looking, focusing on her workout like she was remembering what it felt like to not be afraid. At 7:45, she laughed and said maybe she was being paranoid, that Bo had probably moved on. The truth was, I wasn't hating spending time with her, so when she kept apologizing, I told her it was fine, and I meant it. I even thought this would be a cute story for us in the future if I played my cards right, but then the door opened. Bo walked in, and I understood why Lila had been hiding. He was massive, the kind of guy who didn't need steroids because rage was enough of a performance enhancer. His eyes found Lila immediately, and his whole posture changed like a predator catching a scent. Lila froze mid-rep and whispered, he found me, before forcing herself to keep moving. Bo went to the bench press directly facing us and loaded up 4 plates on each side, pressing it like it was nothing while staring at me the entire time. Between sets, he'd flex in the mirror, making sure I could see every muscle, the tattoo on his neck that said, death before dishonor, in Gothic letters pulsing with his heartbeat. After 10 minutes, he moved to the free weights, picking the rack right next to ours, close enough that I could see the veins in his neck pulsing and smell the weird metallic scent of his pre-workout mixed with cologne. When Lila tried to move across the gym, he followed 30 seconds later, maintaining exactly 15 feet like he was showing he could control himself but chose to stay close. He wasn't even breathing hard despite throwing around weights that I couldn't budge. Every time I touched Lila's shoulder to spot her, Bo would slam his weights down hard enough to make everyone look, then pick them back up and do it again, each slam getting louder. At one point, he walked past us to get water and shoulder checked me hard enough to knock me sideways, then said, sorry bro, with this huge smile, while Lila grabbed my arm to steady me. His hand lingered on my shoulder for a second too long, squeezing just hard enough to hurt, and he leaned in close enough that I could feel his breath when he whispered, careful, these floors are slippery. Lila was shaking, and Bo had moved to the cable machine directly behind us, pulling the entire stack with one arm while staring at me. He started talking on his phone loud enough for us to hear. Some guys don't know when they're in over their heads, and it's crazy how many accidents happen in gym parking lots. His voice was calm, but he timed each comment to when I was helping Lila, making sure I knew he was talking about me. Between phone comments, he'd grunt unnecessarily loud with each rep, almost like a growl, primal and threatening. We tried moving to cardio, but Bo got